Well, I want to thank you for taking a minute out of your time to join me here for this live. Please feel free to share with others that you think may find it useful if you have the capacity to do that where you're viewing from. Additionally, if you have questions during the live, or even if you're watching this after the live is over, put those in the chat. And if you ask them live, I'll do my best to see if I can engage those questions at the end of our time. If you're joining later, I will also chime in the chat to see if I can answer your questions if you have them. And additionally, if you prefer to send me an email with questions, you can do that at tim@faithfullygrowing.com. Additionally, I'd love to know where you're chiming in from. I'm broadcasting on multiple different channels, and so let me know that too in the chat, whether it be here on this live or if you're watching it later. But are you coming from a Facebook group or a page, YouTube, Twitter, or somewhere else? And for those of you who may not know me, I'm Tim Fortescue, a life coach focusing on personal and spiritual development and walking alongside folks on their journey. You can find more about me on my website, faithfullygrowing.com. And you can also book a complimentary consultation if it may be helpful for you. But tonight, I want to share with you a practice that I and many have found helpful to debrief the day after the end of a long day, just some questions and a method to help and assist with that. And it's called the prayer of examine. And it has 5 components to it. The first being focus on God's goodness and grace. And I'll lead you through this in a minute, but give thanks to God for what you've received and how God or something bigger than yourself, if you have another term, may have helped you in the day. Number 2, petition. Ask God for insight and understanding. What is within you, understanding that you can't do this without the spirits or something bigger than you to illuminate these things to you. So don't feel like you're doing this alone. There's more at work inside than just ourselves. And then number 3, review your day with God by your side and ask God to show you times of consolation, those times when things have gone well and you look back and smile on, but also times of desolation when you may look back and frown at things that didn't go so well. And be careful again and know that you're not doing this yourself. Ask God to show you. And sometimes we can practice something like this, and after one time, we don't want to do it again because we're filled with so much guilt. Don't approach this from a shame-inducing way or a fear-inducing way, but feel grace and love as you do this and acceptance, and know that it's going to be okay. And it's good to review some of these things, even if it may be a little challenging. Number 4, thanksgiving and forgiveness. Celebrate the times of consolation and ask for forgiveness for times of maybe moving away from God. And in all of it, soak in grace, forgiveness, and mercy. And then finally, number 5, renewal. Ask God for grace to amend your ways and more fully live out a sense of connection with God. And so let's practice this for the next few minutes, and let me lead you through the prayer of examine. And first, I invite you to get into a comfortable position. Let your muscles relax and your mind quiet down, and know that the mind is going to wander. That's what the the mind does. And when it wanders off, just bring it back to your breath, to the present moment. Maybe it's a sacred word like Jesus, but bring it back to the moment and know that you may do that over and over and over again, and you will. And that's the practice, and it's okay. But take in a deep breath and ask God to make God's presence known around and in you, and feel this presence and really try to soak it in. Ask God to reveal all the gifts and graces that you've been given today, from the big ones like life, safety, and love, to the small ones like a good night's sleep, a phone call from a friend, a compliment. And thank God for each of these gifts. And then ask God to fill you with God's mercy, love. Ask God to be the leader of this prayer time rather than brooding or obsessing over yourself or the day. And then going hour by hour, review the day. In your imagination, relive each significant moment of the day. Linger in the important moments and pass quickly over the less relevant ones. And then continue thanking God for the gifts you find in the day. And pause at any of the difficult moments of the day. Pay attention to any missed opportunities when you could have acted in a certain way but didn't. And when you find moments in which you may not have been the person you were called to be, ask for forgiveness and take in that grace and mercy and love. And try to sense healing as it washes over you. And then ask God to show you concretely how God wants you to respond or what God wants you to do tomorrow. Ask what kind of person you're being called to be tomorrow, and resolve to be that person, and ask God for God's help. And then as we close out this time, ask yourself if there are any last words that you wish to say or that you need to say. And then close with whatever is most comfortable for you. Maybe it's the sign of the cross, or palms together in a bow, or maybe it's saying the Our Father, the Lord's Prayer. But whatever works for you, just do a ritual to close out the time. And then after a minute, bring yourself back to the present moment. And I hope that this was helpful for you. Maybe it was new and takes a little getting used to. But if you have questions, if you would like to know more, send me an email, tim@faithfullygrowing.com, and you can also go there and book a complimentary consultation if it would be helpful to talk more. But thanks again for your time. Don't see any questions in the chat, but should you have questions and you're watching this later, feel free to post them and I'll do my best to respond, and share this with others that you think may be helped by it. But thanks again for joining me today, and take good care of yourself. All right, take care.